Hey, Nashvillians. Welcome to the You Matter Nashville podcast, the place where every story we share is a celebration of you, the heartbeat of our community. I'm Jason Hoover, delighted to be one half of your hosting duo.
And I'm Mindy Hoover, joining you alongside Jason to bring you the stories of inspiring individuals and unsung heroes making a positive impact right here in our hometown.
Every episode is about passions, dreams, and actions that stitch together the Middle Tennessee community.
So if you're looking to get inspired by the good happening around us, or if you want to hear from the change makers who believe, just like us, that you matter, then hit that follow button on your favorite podcast platform.
And if you are looking to make a move in the Middle Tennessee area, Mindy and I are real estate professionals and would be honored to serve you with excellence.
Now, let's dive into another episode of You Matter Nashville.
Welcome to You Matter Nashville, where we spotlight individuals making a significant impact right here in our community. Today, we're honored to have Brian Sweatt, the driving force behind Mechanics on a Mission. This organization is dedicated to combating transportation insecurity by providing free car repairs and even free vehicles to those in need throughout Middle Tennessee. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jason and Mindy, for having me. It's really a privilege to be on your show.
Absolutely. And to start, could you share what inspired you to establish Mechanics on a Mission and, just addressing all the critical need in this arena for our community?
Well, it kind of starts back in 2010 when I was the head of school at Lighthouse Christian School and preschool in Antioch. And of course, many remember May 1st, 2010. It'll always live in the infamy of Nashville, of the terrible flood. And of course, in that iconic picture of one of our buildings from Lighthouse floating down I-24.
Crazy.
Yeah, not just floating down the river, floating down the interstate. And then, of course, being caught up and imploding. It was definitely iconic and one of those things like, Lord, what are you doing and what is going on? But, they would say what Satan intended for evil, God intended for good. And ultimately, as we walked this journey, God sent ABC and Extreme Makeover in our community, and they rebuilt our preschool. We had 8 buildings that were devastated in that flood. And they came with the community. And they'll make it real clear, Extreme Maker does, their community is the one that sent the 13,000 volunteers and Hardaway Construction and LP Building Solutions and GS&F and so many of them that gave of their time. The Lee Company came and rebuilt us an 8,000 square foot preschool, give or take, in 1 week.
That's incredible.
It was amazing. Yeah, we moved that bus with Ty and Polly, and it's always one of those things you think happened to somebody else.
Yeah.
But in your darkest moments, when your community shows up for you and you see God just do a miracle, I mean, there's no other word for it, shows up in a big way. That as we were moving forward, and after 17 years of leading Lighthouse, God made it clear to me and my wife it was time for us to take that next step. And we started a small ministry called Our Church Ministries with Jamie and Carly No. And that was just a ministry established for us to have a small group and then a ministry where we would find needs in Middle Tennessee and meet them. As we met and the group, people started joining us and coming a part of the group. And we're only about 30 people. It's a very small group. We realized that we had several people that were in the car world. And I remember as we were meeting needs, my son and Jamie's son came to us. They were seniors at Lighthouse, and one of their friends had been in a car wreck. It was on a cold, rainy night, and someone didn't see him. And unfortunately, they had forced him off the road, and he had an old, I think it was 1997 Ford Ranger or so, and it just got totaled. He had been real sick and had lost 60 pounds. It was really struggling. They didn't have the resources to fix that. So our boys came and asked, "Hey, Dad, can we get a car for our friend?" And of course, anytime your children step outside of themselves and care about somebody else, you feel like, hey, they've heard some of the things that we've been talking about. And so we went and got a vehicle and gave them the keys, and they gave it to their friend one day after school, which was really special. We didn't even get out of the car. We parked way back in the corner. So we wanted to see it, obviously, but we parked back in the corner. And so really our first car giveaway that I recall, they did. We weren't even a part of it other than supplying the vehicle.
That's so neat.
They gave it to their friend, and it was super moving. Of course, we're all in the car bawling like babies, but it was really, really cool to see that. And then shortly after that, Jamie was born in Hopkinsville, and some tornadoes hit Hopkinsville. and we purchased a couple cars. We knew some dealers up there for some people that needed cars there. Didn't even get to go up there and get those. So the first couple ones we were really a part of that we were able to facilitate and give away. And then after that, we just looked around and felt like, okay, God, what are you doing? Are you showing us that you want us to do that? Part of our inner circle are the guys from Nelson Mazda, Chad Custer, Randy Dismang, James Dixon, Ryan Adams, who runs one of the area tire worlds. I did his wedding, and he just does an amazing job. He's been my mechanic for 20 years. Andrew Slemp over at Christian Brothers in Murfreesboro Memorial. These are all guys that were part of our ministries in some way. And so we looked around and just felt like God wanted us to come together so we could do this in a more focused way, because I always feel like we're better together. And so Mechanics on a Mission was born. That's a real quick version. Obviously, took a little more time than that, but that's kind of the overview of how Mechanics on a Mission got started. And the irony is, I couldn't fix a car if my life depended on
really?
it.
Okay.
I was like, Lord, you want me to do what? It was one of those things that this was really kind of ironic to say, okay, Lord, but if this is what you want, I know that you'll supply the what we need to be successful. And now we have over 13, 14 different repair centers here in Middle Tennessee, 150 or so techs and mechanics that do the work for us, all professional techs and mechanics, not just weekend warriors. And it's been this crazy, amazing journey. When we started, we thought, hey, we'll give about 10 cars a year. Last year, we were able to give out 60, and this year we're going to give out 100. We only have one paid employee, and so that's been kind of an adjustment too. People obviously get paid, but they get paid by their center stuff. They volunteer for Mechanics on a Mission, but it's been an amazing journey. That's a lot. I'm sorry. I probably
that's great. It's great. Just diving in.
You mentioned Nelson Mazda. We bought our last car from there. Really, really good place. Had a great experience.
Well, they will make a believer out of you in more ways than one. And we bought some cars from them too. And it's such a great business that lives their faith. And that's what's so special about Nelson Mazda. They really do live out their faith.
You see it on the windows every December.
Yep. Well, and Nelson Mazda's key role for us, they detail every car that we give away, because we want to give cars, the nicest cars that we can give away. We want to give the people that we're giving them to, allow them to have great respect and honor, and getting in a nice, clean vehicle.
Yeah.
And if
you try to, new. Yeah,
it does. It really, it's something. Let me tell you, we've had the opportunity to give some really, really wonderful vehicles away, and there's sometimes I take over Nelson Mazda. I'm going, let's see what you can do with this one.
Here's the challenge of the week.
Yeah, and they make it look and smell and just beautiful. And they've done that now. We've given away 130 cars, and they've detailed all 130 cars.
That's fantastic.
That's incredible. I love that. And I love the partnerships. I think that's what makes, an organization, so successful, is when you have different groups all kind of coming together and piecing it,
Yeah.
Shares
so
the burden.
We are built on partnerships. We couldn't do what we do. Like I said, we have one paid employee, and we hired them in January 25. So just hired her. Okay. And that was because our online portal, we get so many requests. We couldn't even begin with volunteers to begin to reply and respond to all the requests for both car repairs and, car giveaways. And so I had to bring somebody in and her name's Lori Siebel. She's doing an amazing job, who can just, respond to people in the portal. Because, if someone reaches out, you don't even get a chance to even respond to them, was certainly not what we wanted. And so we've gone through some growing pains as we've gone, it grown so quickly, but it's been an amazing journey. So I'm glad to have Lori on board.
Yeah. To have assistance in that capacity is huge. Yeah. It's not only does it take care of those tasks and those important to-dos, but it takes it off of your mind so that you're focused on other things. You had mentioned was it your son that had the friend? So and he said you had heard you guys talking about this. Was this something that you started after the church, our church ministries? Something that came about? I guess share how all of this came about.
So in September of 2020, and I hate giving dates because, I'm old now and I forget something, but it was September 2020, after 17 years leading Lighthouse Christian School and preschool. My wife and I knew it was just time for that next season of life. running schools is definitely a younger person's game. It's a lot, especially at times. Lighthouse has been honored as the most diverse private school in America.
Oh, really?
Which, right here in Nashville. Yeah. So it's a great school, really including a lot of kids who sometimes are underserved or potentially get overlooked. And so they're doing amazing work there. That's why Extreme Makeover came and built the preschool for us, is some of the work that we've done there. And of course, during the Hurricane Katrina, several of the people that were part of Lighthouse went down for 40 straight months to go down and help the people of Hurricane Katrina recover. Wow. So God was preparing us without us knowing it, that because it was funny, at times they'd say, hey, if it ever floods, we'll come help you. Well, it never floods in Nashville. Well, knock on wood, right? But anyways,
all the wood.
God was uniquely preparing people who were part of Lighthouse for that ability to go out and serve the community during the flood. And so it was interesting to see God's hand work. But ultimately, when we left Lighthouse, we were trying to figure out, God, okay, what's next? We know that you have something for us. And a parent, Jamie and Carl, I know I mentioned, came to us and said, hey, we'd like you to start a church with us that is really kind of a nonprofit-based church that goes out and serves and ministers. And I'm like, oh man, Jamie, you don't understand how honored we are that you would think of us to come join you in that. But I'm not a pastor. That's not what I want to do. I'm an administrator. So, hey, thank you very, very much. But I think we're just going to, look at some other things. And one of his mentors is Bob Goff, the Christian author. Mm-hmm. And so literally when we turned them down, they already had a week planned with Bob and his wife. And Bob reframed it a little bit. And they came back and said, well, what if we do a small group in a nonprofit? And they asked us to come back with them. We did. Me and my wife were there. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And I remember getting in the car after that. And my wife goes, what did you just do? I'm like, oops, well, maybe I should have. I got excited about what they were doing. But ultimately, it became a church. And I became the world's most reluctant pastor. Still probably am. But love what it's awesome to see what God had planned through all of this. The church, again, is small. We meet at Rosso Constructors, who allows us to use their building. How gracious they are. Again, another great partner that allows us to use their building so we can take the limited resources we have and invest it into our community and show people the love of Jesus in a real and tangible way.
That's fantastic. So, cars. How did we get on cars? Was it your idea?
So, yes, Jamie and I had some conversations, and as we had those conversations, it just kind of developed. I don't know if it's any one person's idea, but as we were talking about it, what if we do this? Cancel on a Mission was what God gave me to name our ministry, and it was just again, it just it was more organic, and originally we thought, well, hey, we can do this, and let's partner up with all the car people God's put in our life. We've also got Godspeed, which is a group that was early on with us that has an exotic car club. And so they do car shows and things like that. But Robert Funk, who runs Godspeed, is a 40-year body man. So he does all the body work for us. So we can do almost anything now as related to cars. And again, the irony is that I'm not a car guy at all. At least I wasn't. I am now. I've learned a whole lot.
That's my question next was, are you learning?
So only about vehicles. I'm not learning how to fix any of them because I'm not going to waste my time with that when I've got the professionals that I have around me who are really, really good. And they do try to teach me, and then they just give up and say, yeah, we can't teach you. So I'm like, it's all right.
But knowing what to look for in a car is really important. So
yeah, and that's been an interesting process because we buy the majority of our cars. We do get several cars donated, which we're certainly grateful for. Right now, it's about a 75% that we buy and then fix up, and then 25% that are donated. We're hoping in 25 to reverse those numbers, be able to buy 25% and get 75% donated. So, being able to be on your show, that gives people some awareness. Hey, there's actually people who will take my car and not just scrap it or sell it and then take the money. We're actually going to fix it up and give it to somebody, and it'll absolutely change their life.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a car in Nashville, it's almost impossibly successful. Our public transportation is not very robust, and so it's difficult. But you get a car, you can go to work, you can pay your bills, you can keep a roof over your head, feed your kids, get them to school, get them to doctor's appointments. And with no car, you can't do any of that. I always tell people, just imagine walking out of your house to your driveway and there's no cars. How are you going to get to where you need to be?
I was just about to bring that up because, I mean, the loss of a car. And when I was in college, I had my car mess up, and like I lost my job because my boss did not care that I couldn't get my car fixed in 48 hours, and there was no such thing as Lyft, and I was 30 minutes away from my job. So like, how, I'm saying, like, who's going to bring me? Nobody. So, I mean, it was very sad. So I totally understand that. And living where we live, where either you're in a rural area, mostly a suburb area, and even if you live in Nashville, like, sorry, Nashville, but our bus system is, it does not facilitate, and most of them don't even run a full schedule late into the night when people are getting off work. So it
There's
really
a lot of
disables.
opportunity there.
Oh yeah, it really disables, especially single moms trying to pick up their kids from school or from after school things, or it's a mess.
We recently gave a truck to a gentleman who was having to ride the bus for 2 hours from Murfreesboro to get his job at the airport. He had a good job at the airport, but he worked second shift, and he would ride 2 hours to get to the airport. And then by the time he got off work, the buses weren't running.
Right.
And so he got the Uber or Lyft. He was living at the Salvation Army at the time, and to get all the way back to the Salvation Army was $80. So he would pay them $40, get to Murfreesboro Road, and then walk the rest of the way. Rain, shine,
Wow.
It was just nighttime, but rain, snow, cold, it didn't matter. So he could afford to do that. So not only did he get a truck, we gave him a raise because now he's not having, and he gave his time back. And so there's so many dominoes that fall when you don't have transportation, but be able to see somebody now doesn't have to pay Uber or Lyft, has his own vehicle, and the pride that comes with being able to care for yourself. There comes opportunity and freedom that comes with transportation, and that ability to care for yourself, which so many people want. I mean, we're finding that people who don't have a vehicle, you give them one, and man, they just rise to the challenge of I can now take care of myself.
Freedom.
Yeah.
They now have freedom. I think a lot of us take it for granted. If you haven't had to deal with that or live in it, we take it for granted. We don't understand the, I guess, luxury of having a vehicle that runs.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of people working in the housing space and the food space. In fact, you recently had one of my really good friends, inner circle guy for me, Chris Whitney from One Generation Away.
Yes.
They're a big partner of ours. Every car we give away, they give us a doorstep pantry bag of food. So we at least get to meet the food needs and the transportation needs because of our partnership with One Generation Away. But Chris is a mentor of mine and has poured a lot into my life.
He's amazing.
Very grateful for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not many people are working the transportation space. It was just one of those things, again, that I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so God kind of had to really lay it out there in front of us and have us stumble into it. But what he's put together, I'm a small piece of this. I get to often be the face, get to talk about it, but all the people that he's brought to us to be able to do the actual work and make this possible. Our church is very active. In fact, we have about 30 people in our church, then plus kids, so about 50 total with the kids. And almost everybody has some sort of specific role that they have embraced and done almost organically for Mechanics on a Mission. One of those, Chad Beck, he comes to me after one Sunday and goes, I can build us a tow truck. So we don't have to pay get tows. We can go pick up cars ourselves. And
nice.
We went out and built us a tow truck. And now we go and we're able to go get cars ourselves. Occasionally we use a tow company, but that saves us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And one of the real cool things, one of the real cool things with that is I've been able to go on most of the pickups. And so it gives us time. He's part of our church. I'm his pastor, and we actually get time together. And one reason we don't even put out, we have not even put out anywhere our address to where we meet. We tell people Rosso, but we don't. And I've had a couple of friends say, hey, we're going to come Sunday, but we couldn't find out the address to where you meet. I said, well, you can always text me. But it's just because we're not trying to be the next big mega church. Yeah. We just want to be a church that we meet on Sunday morning to encourage others, and we go out during the week and do things that impact our community and show people love Jesus in a real and tangible way.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So as giving them back, do you have like a story or two to share of, one of those instances where you gave it and it just completely changed their lives?
Yeah, we've had several that we've given who are now living in their vehicles. And so they had no transportation, they had no home, but at least now they have a place warm they can go.
Yeah.
And again, we partner with to be referred to for a car repair or a car giveaway. You have to be referred by a local charity, nonprofit,
That was my next
ministry,
question.
organization, or church. And so you kind of see how the pieces come together. That's where they go into the online portal and they make a recommendation. The organization that refers to us, they have some responsibility for the vehicle, and we partner with them. And so that's why partnerships is so important. At first, we were doing everything, and we realized, wow, this is, first of all, super expensive, and second of all, we're going to run out of money if we keep going through this. So we partner now with area nonprofits and charities and ministries and churches, and that's worked so well and allows us to do so much more. Plus, we all have some skin in the game together, which makes it really special. And then, but for them, having that nonprofit, that charity, that ministry walking with them, we found out very quickly they have a much greater chance of being successful when they have an organization walking with them beyond our time with them of providing a car.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah. And as far as some stories, just last night, we had the opportunity, or excuse me, Saturday night, we had the opportunity to surprise 3 military veterans at the Nashville Predators game. And
so
roll
cool.
a car on the ice, and they had no idea. We don't often get to surprise people, but with the Predators, we were able to. So this week, we're working on getting them delivered to them and everything. But one of the veterans there, great, awesome man, but is homeless right now, has no vehicle, has 2 kids, married, and they're how do we get a car? What are we going to do? And able to give them a car, it's absolutely going to change their life. And his reaction on the ice was, I mean, you start bawling, crying, and everything else. It's just one of those things that is beautiful, and the gratitude that so many people have as we present them with these vehicles.
And they pulled the cars out on the ice?
One of them. We didn't. They had a video of the other 2. Nash came and videoed the other 2 for us. They didn't want to try all 3, but we did pull one out there. Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. I got to be down there. I almost got run over by the Zamboni, but I got to be down there. The guy was, because they're pulling the car out. So I'm sitting there in the entryway taking some pictures, not knowing the Zamboni's coming behind me.
Oh,
it was all good. It'd have been my fault because the guy was yelling at me to get out of the way.
They're like, rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian would have been a permanent fixture.
Oh, well, that is really amazing. And I love that the Predators, they always honor the vets, at the games. So what a great partnership that was to combine on that and them even come out. That's just, I love that. I love the Predators. So,
Go Preds. Yeah. They've been huge supporters of the different ministries we've been a part of. Just love what they do. Rebecca King and Kristen Finch and Abby Helper, just the whole crew over there is amazing. They are impacting so many, not just our nonprofits, so many nonprofits. Yeah. I mean, the money they give away every year. I mean, they show up too. They show up for you. It's like you think they have 50 people and it's like 3 or 4. But it's amazing what they're able to do.
That's amazing. On the car. So if I've got a car, we don't, but if I did, is there like a certain condition you're like, no, that ain't even going to work? Yeah, we'll take almost any car, but we really want to. We really hope the car's viable. 2 things that we don't do, just because of the cars that we give away, usually average about $5,000. So we don't typically replace transmissions or replace blown engines, just because the cost is usually prohibitive. If somebody wants to donate a car like that to us, then those are the rare situations where we will scrap it, take that money, put it to another car. But we've been really, really fortunate. The last several that we've gotten have been good, viable cars we've been able to work through, fix up, and give away. We prefer not to have something that's, obviously been trashed and, beat up and all that. Because, again, we have a set amount of money we can invest in a car to get it back up and running. And if it exceeds that, then we just, at that point, we'll scrap it and move on. So, but people have been really generous and really good. And, we don't have any really huge major donors, but God has supplied what we need. Like I said, we went from 60 cars last year, increased now 66%, trying to do 100. Don't have all the money for that or the cars for that. That's the only challenge, funding, and then sourcing 100 cars is a lot of cars, especially when you're primarily a volunteer organization. But again, we've got a lot of good pieces in place, and we're still trying to find our rhythm for
25, because we have to give out 8.2 cars a month, and we're a little behind right now. So for March. So, but we're catching up.
How do people learn about it? Or is it just all word of mouth to donate a car?
Yeah. So they can go visit mechanicsonamission.com or mechanicsonamission.org, either one. But through events like going out to be the Preds, the Crosspoint Church had us be their Christmas Dollar Club, did a great video. We gave Open Table a box truck. Never done a box truck before. It was all of God things. I'm like, yeah, I don't think we do that. And then literally, I'm the next day, I'm at a sports card show, collectibles, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And the guy sees my sweatshirt, Mechanics on a Mission here, and goes, "What's Mechanics on a Mission?" And he goes, and so I explained to him, and he goes, "Well, I own Nashville Auto Diesel, and do you need a box truck?" I'm like, "Come on now, what?" Yeah, and so we got a box truck. So we did our first box truck, gave that to Open Table, which helps house homeless families. And then we gave a Mazda, which was donated by Nelson Mazda CX-9, which are really nice, to a Pakistani refugee family. Nice. And so it was a really, really precious time. And Crosspoint sponsored us for that. And that was, again, those are those partnerships that make these things possible that is really special.
Is it like Christmas every time you get a call saying, "Hey, I want to donate a car"?
It is. And, the car giveaways have been the most amazing thing. There's really two reactions that happen. Either the tears, which is what you think would happen, and they're tears of joy, but people are overwhelmed. But what's happened more is like celebration. And we try to make it really festive and more celebratory than crying, because I don't look good when I cry, and so I try not to do that too much. But it's been really exciting. But you never know what reaction is going to take place. And what's really surprised me is two things: how it's impacted our mechanics, because we try to give the car away at the repair shop that did the work,
nice.
so they get to meet the people.
Yeah.
And if someone donates a car to us, we invite them out to the car giveaway.
Perfect.
And it's usually like 10 people. It's not big and massive or anything. Most are low key. 10 or 12 people that they'll get to meet. But it's just people that are there celebrating them and loving on them. And then I've been surprised the emotional energy that it takes out of you every car giveaway. We did 7 cars the 7 days before Christmas. I don't think I've ever been so tired in my life doing that. And it's emotionally, not like physically, it's not like anything to me, but just emotionally how that can take it out of you. But I do feel like Oprah sometimes, and you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I had the best job ever.
I have to say so. Now, how many mechanics and how many shops volunteer for your organization?
So we work with all the area Christian Brothers, the area Tire Worlds, both Nelson Mazdas, First Chance Tire and Auto, City Auto. So I think at last count, it was 13 or 14 different repair centers. We've also expanded down into Chattanooga and working with Christian Brothers Hickson. We're hoping to expand into Bowling Green here soon. A store's opening up there. One of the guys who worked, one of the ones here we work with, Miles, is opening his own store in Bowling Green, so we'll expand up there. And then we're having some conversations with Birmingham and Huntsville, which has some Christian Brothers down there. And so Christian Brothers has like 350 different stores. So this is something that we could see, going national, especially in cities like Nashville, those mid-sized cities. This probably doesn't work very well in New York or Boston or LA, where they have good public transportation, but other cities where that public transportation isn't as robust, certainly can be really, really helpful. So we'll just see what God does with it. It's already been this amazing journey to watch His hand guide and lead us, and we're interested to see where He takes us next.
So I want to go back, just out of curiosity, to that very first one. Okay, you've already decided, all right, we're going to do this. It's Mechanics on a Mission. We're going to give away cars. Now what? How did you get started? Like, what was that first thing? It's like, okay, this is a great idea. We're ready to go. Where's the first step?
So it was, you have to have good repair centers. If you don't have somebody who can do the work on the cars and do it well, because we give a car away, we want it to be a blessing and not a problem. But when you're dealing with older cars, sometimes something go wrong. But we give them a car, we give them a 60-day warranty. And as long as they don't wreck it, we can fix anything else. If they wreck it, that's why you have insurance. And we do have some qualifiers. They have to have a valid driver's license. They have to show us proof of insurance before we give them the keys. And then they have to be referred by a local nonprofit charity ministry church organization. And they go through our online portal. But having a repair center is probably the first step. If you have somebody you can trust, obviously mechanics, car dealers, sometimes they get bad raps. And so we're very selective of who we want to work with, people that we can trust, people that we know. Like I said, Ryan, who runs Tire World over in Laverne, we started going there, met him, and, just through our opportunity to be together, and not just because of us, but a lot of different reasons, he came to know the Lord. And then I officiated him and his wife's wedding. He married a gal that works for Youth for Christ. And it's just been a really unique thing. And Ryan is probably the right hand of all of this. His dedication and commitment to this helped really push this through and get us off the ground. But you have to have, first and besides the past, you have to have a really good repair center that you can trust.
And it sounds like Christian Brothers, even the reviews, it's always very positive.
Yeah, they do, again, amazing work. We've got the best partners in town, and highly recommend any of the ones there. No, I can count on them because I've dealt with them time and time again. And sometimes something doesn't go right, and there's always a chance something might not go right. They're going to make it right, do everything they can to make it right. The same thing that we try to do. We've had 2 cars that we know of that have come off the road in a reasonable time frame. If they had them for 2 years, and we tell them these are not your cars for the next 10 years. These are stopgap cars. Make sure you start putting money aside. Now you don't have to pay for Uber and Lyft. You're going to have a steady job. You're able to get there, put some money aside. So when this car does break down, you're able to fix it and repair it and make sure you take care of the maintenance. We try to help them with that. Really we're still building out some of those things to even be more helpful and useful. But we've had 2 cars that we just gave them another car. We replaced it. They had some issues with it pretty early on, so we just replaced the cars for them.
There you go. I love that. Okay, so I have a little switch of gears. So I know that you guys all have a church that's all integrated with all these different ministries and everything. How does the ministry part like interact with the actual mission? Like how do you share Jesus through service with the cars and the main ministry?
It's a wonderful question. Every car that we give away, we include a Bible. We pray over every recipient with all the people that are there, because we'll invite the nonprofit that referred them. The recipient will come. The techs and mechanics are there. If someone donated a car, they get to come. And then sometimes some people for our ministries will come and be supportive there, just to, again, pray over them and help celebrate with them and love on them a little bit. And so we make sure we take that time to do that. We explain who we are, why we're doing what we do. We want to hear their story, even though we know some of their story. A lot of the people there don't, especially the techs and mechanics. And I remember, I think it was car number, again, I do know, but in the 40s, we were first getting started, and we were given a car to Thomas over at First Chance Tire and Auto. And we got so excited about his story. He worked with the little pantry that could. They were the referring. And it just had gone through some really hard times. A daughter had been murdered and several things. We were all bawling. And we got so caught up in his story and getting him his car, we forgot to pray over the car. And that is the only car that didn't make it home. And the Lord made it really clear, if you don't pray and do those things, we will make sure that we humble and embarrass you by not letting those cars get home, because it's very embarrassing when that doesn't go the way you want it to go. And you're like, oh, crap. But anyways, that was the one. And God taught us a very valuable lesson. So we make sure that that's a point of emphasis.
Make sure he's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the reason we're doing what we're doing. We have no reason to be doing this, other than that we have seen God pour out his love on us and, show us in our darkest moments and times. He showed up through other people. And so now we can do that for others. And it's truly moving.
And I know we've prayed over cars a time or two. One of them, we were just praying that it got to the place to trade it in.
I have picked up a couple cars. People are donating. They say, "Oh yeah, they're drivable," and I get in that thing. And someone has to take me over there and drive it, and I crank it up. Oh, crank it up! Hey, go! You learned a lot of things. And I got one car, and I'm telling you, I got about half a mile, and I was like, oh boy, I'm not going to make it anywhere. And I prayed that thing into a Christian Brothers and made it
You're
there.
like, just
I was
get
going
me
to take it
to
somewhere else, but I
mechanic.
took a detour, and I was like, praise the Lord, I had a shop right there close by.
Oh my goodness.
You're like, we have a tow truck. Just let me know which way do we need to go.
Exactly. That's why I always say, are you sure this is drivable? I ask that question all the time. They tell me it's drivable, because obviously if it's drivable, it's a little easier than hauling the big tow truck out there.
Right.
But,
It's like, will it make it to the mechanic? I can
Yeah.
get very specific. I was a teacher a long time, to be very specific with your questions. Will it make it on a 30-minute trip? No?
Yes,
Okay.
So I know you get donated cars, and you shared about 75% you have to go purchase them. So on the purchase, obviously you're taking donations. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
How do
So
people go ahead?
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, how do people donate, or how do you get that message out to everybody?
Well, we've been so busy with cars, we haven't spent a lot of time, sharing that message. We know what God wants; He pays for. I know we need to spend a little more time doing that. So I'm working very diligently at helping me be able to get out of working in the ministry and be able to work on it. Hiring Lori was that first step. But again, we're set up in such a way that basically with Mechanics on a Mission, when you donate $1, that dollar goes out. Expenses are paid by our ministry, like our insurance and things like that. So the techs and mechanics are paid by their repair center. And so we do pay Lori now, but had to. There's just no possible way. We try to keep that budget as low as possible so we can give away as many cars as possible. And they can go visit our website at mechanicsonthemission.com, and there's a donate now button. One thing that we could really use right now are recurring monthly donors. If they were able to give, whether it's 25, 100, 500, 1,000, doesn't matter really the amount, but just recurring monthly donors, that would be super helpful for us. We've got some folks who are working with us right now on the car giveaways for our end and our part of the car giveaways, but the car repairs, we usually try to pay through the monthly recurring donors. And we need to amp that up some, because we have, we'll have several hundred repairs this year. And, it gets quite expensive when you're dealing with vehicles in a hurry.
Oh, yes. And it's not getting cheaper.
No, that's been one thing. The used car market's still really strong.
Yeah.
And so that's cost us more than what we anticipated. And then another line item we had to add is now we've got all these cars on the road, and we're giving, 60-day warranties just to make sure we have the money to repair anything that goes on with a car that might need something. You can't really test your starter until it goes out. And so that's happened a time or two, not much, but just go get it, replace it, and get them back on the road.
Yeah, I used to sell used cars long time ago, back in the 90s. And it was my first sales gig, and I did well, but man, I'm an introvert. And so going out, and I really thought I was going to get all this training. I got about a 5-minute talk. And he said, all right, go out on point. And, point is you go out there and you have to call and oh man. But, I made a lot of friends with the, people that serviced them, and I still can't fix a car myself. I mean, I can get in there and mess around, but probably not a good idea. So I highly respected, what they did, and, what these people are able to do, fix the vehicles. Cause, if it was up to me, people be in a world of hurt.
Well, Jason, since you are experienced with car sales, we can put you on our vehicle acquisitions team and help us go find some cars.
Okay. He's like, oh, did I hear a volunteer opportunity?
Wait, God? Huh? Oh man, I love it. And funny thing is, I loved selling cars. And when we got together and I had my first real after college job, I ended up doing part-time at CarMax for a little while.
Awesome.
It was just kind of fun. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Making that money.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, had to afford you, Mindy, right?
That's right. I was not cheap.
I love it.
He knows this too well.
We had the opportunity. I share one of the things that's been kind of neat. We had the opportunity, had Senator Heidi Campbell and Representative Harold Love draft a bill for us to potentially get a um, dealer's license without having a location.
Oh,
And got to go to the transportation subcommittee and the transportation committee and talk a little about that. We have decided to roll it over as we're going to start working with the Tennessee Automotive Association and some others, which will connect us with people in the car world that we really need. We've got a pretty good foothold in the repair world. Dealerships have just been a little harder just because we didn't really know other than Chad over at Nelson Mazda, who does an amazing job for us, and our guys over at City Auto don't know a whole lot of folks there. So it's hard to get to the right person, but this should really help that. And, so it's going to be interesting to see, but being a part of going and seeing the political process was very eye-opening. I learned a lot through that, but it's pretty interesting how that works.
So back on the car lot. So back in my day, they just had wholesalers that came by the lots and would buy the cars. Is that still how it's done? Is that how you get cars? Do you go to lots?
So no, that's one of the reasons we'd like to get tied in more with car dealers, is maybe we could get some wholesale cars from there, have them donate cars to us. Right now, we have some mechanics that go to the auction and like work out of their garage at their house, that type of thing. And we buy a lot of cars from them. We found a couple that we really trust who do a good job. They're not selling us lemons. They're working on the cars, and then they're able to say, hey, this needs to be done. This is the price. This needs to be done, or I can fix it. And this is the price. And found a couple guys like that are doing a good job for us.
Nice.
But to go from 60 to 100 we're going to try to figure out some things of how to source cars more effectively. And then we have to move all those cars. That's the other thing. And like I said, when someone donates a car, even if it's drivable, I've got to have somebody who can drive me out to it to get it and drive it back. Because I can't drive up my car and then So it's been interesting. But God has worked out every detail, and it's running for as young as we are. It's running very, very well, and we're excited to see where God's going to take it next.
So on volunteers, I know you said you need volunteers for something as simple as driving you to a location so you can pick something up. What other opportunities are there for volunteers to be able to call you guys, say, hey, what can I do?
Yeah.
I may not have all the money in the world to help you guys, but what can I do to help you guys run more smoothly?
Yeah. The vehicle transpo is always a really important one. Being able to take our titles, because we're not a dealer, we can't reassign titles. That was another thing that dealer's license was going to help us with. But like I said, we're working with some groups now that are trying to help us with that, and we're really excited about what's going to happen there. But going down to the county clerk, we use Williamson County. They're incredible in there, but it's just the time of going and getting a line and then getting all the titles processed. And so
they are nice in there, by the way.
They're awesome. They really are good. Jeff Whitby and his team over there do an amazing job. It really is a well-run office. It's just a matter of the time that it takes and the amount of titles that we have to do and the paperwork that goes with it. I've got a couple guys that are helping me with that, and they're really helpful. My main man, Don, who is amazing, my favorite volunteer, because waiting at the county clerk is not my favorite thing to do. But he is a snowbird and is down in Florida enjoying the beautiful Florida weather while it's cold here in Nashville. I'm like, Don, I need you to come back.
You can do your volunteer work. Thanks.
No, he's having a great time down there, but there does come that time during the winter months. If I find someone who's not a snowbird who wants to do it during the winter months, we have wide open.
There you go. What about, do you have anybody that tries to contact people selling their cars on Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, vehicle acquisition. Yeah, so I've stopped because we talk about Don, but the vehicle acquisitions, got a couple guys that are working on that with me. Jason just joined the team, so I'm super excited about that. No, just kidding. So people who want to do that, they can help us facilitate getting cars. That'd be super helpful. And like I said, Chad built a tow truck. Robert does the body work. We have this whole group. I've got a guy, so it showed our swag here, but we've got a guy who does most of our swag in house. So we get it at such a good price. I can sell one and give 4 away if I sell one. And so it's really, really helpful. We loved our people to wear our stuff. So we're always trying to give it out. They say, you need to sell it. I'm like, well, I like to give it away to people so they'll wear it. So.
Yeah. Speaking of, we have our own shirts that we give away to guests, so we'll definitely be getting your information and send one.
We'll have to do a trade. Sure. We'll do a trade for sure. That'd be awesome.
Okay,
sounds good.
Well, this has been amazing, Brian, and I haven't heard anything like this. I've, from time to time, but not in depth like you've shared. And it's definitely eye opening for me, to know that there's people like you that are going through this whole process. What I've always, I guess, understood and heard is like, okay, somebody has a car, it's almost like a pass through. Like, here's a
Yeah.
car, you don't worry about all the stuff. I mean, it's just passing it on. But you guys really are going the extra mile to try to make this happen for people, to get their lives in order, to get them, some of them maybe even get their lives back.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world that transportation is a necessity. It used to be a luxury, but
Yeah.
it's become a necessity.
Yeah, and
I
it
mean,
truly is life changing. We've seen it just impact so many people's lives. If we had time, I could share just even more stories. But it's been a really eye opening for us to say, okay, Lord, you want us to do this? Okay, we're going to do it. And we start dipping our toe in the water, and then it just kind of goes boom. And now we're just trying to catch up. But we're expanding into other areas. And, as long as God provides the resources, we're going to keep, moving forward and expanding, trying to do that responsibly as we're able to scale and grow. And really excited about what he has next.
It's always going to be good. Anything he has lined up is going to be good. All right. Well, did you have any final thoughts?
no, I didn't. I was just, thinking back, whenever my car died, and I went 5 months without a car.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And, and I was in college and walking to work and bumming rides, and it was a really difficult time. So, I mean, from personal experience, I really appreciate that you guys are doing this for people. And, yeah, it's just amazing. It's beautiful. It really, really is. And I love people doing tangible things to show the love of God. So much appreciated.
Well, you understand more than most because you've actually walked that path. And
Yeah.
so, we certainly just covet your prayers
Oh,
and for
yeah.
wisdom. We always pray at our ministry, God, show us what you want us to do and be, and then give us the courage to go do that, whatever that is. And so, just keep praying for us, and that God will bring what he has. Because again, our source is God, and he's going to pay for what he wants. The cool thing is to use people to do it. And so it's been amazing to see him just supply. I haven't shared this with a whole lot of people outside of our ministry, but in 24, we gave away 60 cars, did a couple hundred repairs, and we ended the year with more money than we started. And that doesn't even make sense.
Wow.
No, like I said, no huge gifts or anything. We don't have any like massive grants. We did some grants,
Yeah.
things, but nothing, that no $1 million gifts, anything like that. We'd like a couple now. If there's somebody who wants to do that, we're not
Yeah.
opposed to that. But just watching God just continue to take care of things. And so that gave us the courage to say, okay, we're going to do 100 this year instead of just 60. And we'll see what he does.
I love it.
Right.
I love it. I
That's good.
want to hear what the results are, because I'm sure somehow, some way, it will happen for you
Yeah.
guys.
100 cars in 2025. It's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Awesome. Well, and if anybody has somebody they want to refer and they're a nonprofit charity organization, they can go to mechanicsonthemission.com or mechanicsonthemission.org. And right there, they can tap into our online portal and put the request in there. And that's where it all gets started.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, Brian, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for what you're doing to impact our community. That's what it's all about. It's just loving on one another. That's what God wants, right? Just, it in its very simple form, he just wants us to love each other. And so I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate you sharing your story and sharing what came about from the flood, because that was a huge turning point for you guys, I'm sure. And we look forward to seeing where this goes. We really do. And so thank you for being on the show today. Thank you, everybody who has been listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Brian, or you can do it on his website, mechanicsonthemission.com or .org.
We have both addresses.
You have both. Okay, so mechanicsonthemission.com or .org. You can go in there and find out all this information. I'm looking at it right now, and you can has the donate button. Also, he is looking for some help. If you don't do it, I might have to. So please, if you are interested, reach out to him. But thank you for listening. Always remember that your voice matters, you matter, and together we can definitely make a positive impact in our community. God bless. And that brings us to the end of another episode of You Matter Nashville.
We hope today's show has left you feeling as uplifted and inspired as we are. Remember, the spirit of Nashville lives in all of us, and every small act of kindness echoes throughout the community.
A huge thank you for listening and even being a part of our You Matter community. If you love this episode, please share with friends and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more listeners and spread the love.
And if you know anyone that is looking to make a move to Middle Tennessee area, we are real estate professionals known as the Hoover Team, and we would be honored to serve them with excellence.
Until next time, keep making a difference, Nashville. You matter more than you know.